Welcome to episode 497 of This Week in League. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jay.
And I'm Glenn.
I fucking almost forgot how to do the start.
What a hiatus.
It almost feels like the start of a new year.
It certainly does.
But yes, we're back.
We are back
to finish what we started. And so I don't even know what we're going to do this episode, like structural wise. But while I think that
it's effectively it's the fucking off season, just fucking wing it, mate.
Well, yeah, it's like while I think that it's it's ridiculous to talk about the specifics of the grand final and everything, now just 2 weeks after the fact. I mean, I think it is important that Stepdad gets his little chance to have a chat about it and feel the love or whatever the fuck.
I'm still fucking beaming, really. And
I can tell you're wearing a white t-shirt.
Yeah, fucking oath. And I got the heater
spin
on.
a couple of CDs on those things.
I mean, it's like you say you're beaming, but I mean, is there any reason why you're actually rubbing your nipples now?
Here, my nipples are so hard they click when I rub them. But it's
That's not coming through on my end. I saw what you were doing, but it wasn't coming through on the mic. Maybe it will for the listeners.
I'll do this all episode and see if anyone complains.
They'll just be like, who's typing on their keyboard again all episode?
Or the latest one from the fucking Sound Muppet. Can you stop clicking your pen? Fucking shut up, cunt. Why don't you clean your fucking car before you start criticising any other cunt?
Not very Dairy Queen of you. Not very Dairy Queen of you, Glennie.
No,
so,
you're right.
Note to listeners:
start talking about people's cars. I mean, learn
if you meet
your Mario Kart cunt.
if you meet Glennie at a meetup, don't offer to give him a lift anywhere for fear that he will use that against you on future episodes.
Or fucking don't invite me to get into your car when it looks like a fucking rubbish dump.
That is true. But like that grand final was close to the most complete 80-minute performance I've seen from a team in recent memory. I'm straight. You know how like you talk about TV shows and there's all these caveats and like the Sopranos is the greatest series ever, but that had some low points. Glenn, have you got a window open with semi-trailers going past you?
I have a window that's open about an inch, but there's no semi-trailers going past.
Jesus fucking Christ!
I don't.
Windy in Toowoomba.
I don't think it's my mic.
Really?
I'm not hearing. Yeah, I'm not hearing anything on this.
I can hear what you're talking about, but it's not.
Yeah.
Look,
weird.
I just want Sam to have a good time. That's all. But then you go back and Nate, it's like you always say, like True Detective season 1 is the best like single season of TV.
Yeah, although since then there are some other contenders have entered the mix.
Yeah, that's it. But that game, as an example of 80 minutes of rugby league, that was as close to flawless as I think I've seen across the park. There have been better, probably individual performances in certain positions or brilliant individual efforts, but just as a complete team effort over 80 minutes, that game was absolutely phenomenal. I can't speak highly enough. Moses Leota just absolutely went out on a mission to prove a point and turn the Parramatta forwards essentially into non-contenders. Like they just had absolutely no answer for what Fish and Moses were throwing at them. The fact that it just kept rolling as well when they took a spell, there was just no reprise. The halves made good decisions when they needed to make decisions. The outside backs were as busy as always, saving energy for the forwards to use in defence.
I mean, talking about most complete this and that when they fucking,
It was complete.
when they had the opportunity to fucking actually be complete, but instead decided to let them score some fucking soft tries at the end and devalue their entire fucking performance, essentially. But today, as we record this episode...
Haven't you seen those fucking games where they let the special needs kid fucking score? And everyone pretends pretends they're tripping over and doing it.
I have seen those.
Exactly.
But not everyone does that.
Jacob Arthur got a grand final try. The fuck do you think happened?
Exactly. So that's I mean. So like the word complete, other than complete retardation, that's the only time you can complete. No. Why the fuck? Like that actually almost devalues. That almost makes it a fucking loss.
Complete with a benefit to the biggest Make-A-Wish kid the NRL has ever seen, Jacob Arthur. So they did their charity work in a fucking game. Everyone else goes out about the shit people do off the field. They did theirs in a game. So complete.
As we record this, today's the 9th anniversary of Brad Arthur signing to coach the Parramatta Eels, and given that their streak currently stands now at 37 years, that means next year is a milestone for where he surpasses the 25% responsibility mark for their current fucking lack of success.
Fuck.
And that's awesome. I mean, but he can coach. He can definitely coach. He's awesome. Sorry, go ahead, Jay.
And I would also like to point out that there was one player, one IEO, who was firmly headed towards Boyd cornering himself out of an NRL career. And then when the world's #1 rugby league podcast started touting him as the most underrated player in the game, his trajectory just skyrocketed.
Yeah, I mean, but he still knocked himself out of fucking Origin. Like, I mean, he's still got it in him. Like,
it does. It's there. Look, we're good. We're not miracle workers. But I would also like to point out... We can't
repair brains.
I would also like to point out that in the year that we birthed the phrase, you are hearing it more and more, about 1D Edwards becoming the greatest fullback the game has ever seen, he goes on to win a fucking Clive Churchill in the greatest performance by a fullback in any grand final in history. Undisputed.
Yeah.
So, our
undisputed.
prophecy powers, our fucking oracle powers.
Yeah, why are you roping us into this? We didn't say this shit.
He's not roping us into it. Like we don't say shit, and we don't endorse shit at all.
Views currently being expressed by one host are not a true indication of the thoughts
Darren's
of the others.
boys got a Clive Churchill medal. Fucking don't, they're giving them out more and more.
It's named after a fucking South player. It means nothing.
Especially the cunts that are the best player on their fucking side. Just ask fucking Jason Nightingale in 2010. He'll tell you all about it.
Parramatta are indeed our sons. So fuck that entire club. Fuck their dodgy fucking fraud recording meeting having board. And every fucking hopeless Parramatta fan, especially those that, went to extraordinary efforts and spent lots of money to go to a grand final, understanding full well who your team are and what the outcome was going to be, that's maybe the bravest thing in the history of modern sports. Well done. I salute you. But suck my dick from the back.
And again, congratulations on that milestone coming up for Brad Arthur as well, because he, as your head coach, he could have told you what went wrong in the semi-final and stop trying to be big dicks and actually play to your strengths, the things that actually made you match up well against the Panthers. But instead, you decided you wanted to have a bigger dick and play through their strengths, and look where that fucking got you, out of a grand final in 20 minutes flat.
Yeah, so...
put it this way, the Storm got the fucking biggest ass raping in the history of grand finals, and they were in it at half time. Like, Parramatta, you were fucking gone in 20 minutes. And yeah, sure, I mean, you might have won the next 20 minutes, including your try to special retarder man. But
it was really interesting that every aspect that made them successful through any other part of the season went away. It was almost a carbon copy. Do you remember the grand final in 2020? How Penrith had played this like amazing, expansive style of football all season and were chancing their arm and were just running other teams off the park and no one could keep up with them. All of a sudden, they've gone into super fucking conservative mode in the grand final, and it cost them, or the first half of that grand final, I should say. But yeah, Parramatta, the offloads were gone, and yeah, Penrith's defence was really taking away the option. But they just had no answers.
I think Parramatta were head fucked in 15 minutes, and that's saying something.
To depart what happened, what got you there in the first place, despite the fact that 2 weeks earlier or 3 weeks earlier, you actually had a literal example of recent, a recent game from which to base all your video and everything else, because Penrith have never done anything different any game in the last year.
No,
not a thing different. I mean, it's not. And Parramatta proved that they had the tools to fucking against all odds counter that. But no, we'll just keep going back to the well. Brad Arthur knows. I mean, fuck.
Although the tools they had to counter that was Nathan Cleary getting sent off for 70% of the game.
They were on top of that point. There was another game as well that they won where Nathan Cleary wasn't sent off. So let's not.
They did. They won. They won the game earlier on, and he played super poorly in that one. But he played as well as he was allowed to play, just like Parramatta was played as well as they were allowed to play, including Jacob Arthur with that absolute fucking specky to end the game. But to the point
Daddy
now,
got the big piece of chicken and fucking Sunday dinner.
I'll tell you what, he's kept his dad employed for the next 4 years.
Oh, yeah, he's kept his dad employed to for this momentous milestone that we were speaking of. Coming next year, I can't wait. So, you mark the date down.
Oh, look, I'll tell you.
17th of October.
I'll tell you, it was a fucking awkward moment in the Flanagan household where fucking Shano was looking at his boy going, why fucking you couldn't do that, huh?
Well, he's like, well, Dad, you were fucking suspended for feeding steroids to your players, and I was playing for East. What am I going to do?
Then just very quickly on the news after it, the fucking blow up about the disrespect to Parramatta and the fucking Sean Lane coming out and going, oh, you would have never have seen us behaving that way. Well,
you're right, Sean. You're right.
No,
we will never see you doing that.
We will never see Parramatta do that at all.
There's literally two generations of your fan base that don't know what that fucking looks like.
I wholeheartedly agree with you, Mr. Lane.
Now here's the same cunt that was it 2 years ago was fucking sending selfies of him with a fucking white powder in a little plastic baggie. That ended up on all the front pages, and us as a team, we don't believe in that unsportsmanlike sort of fucking behaviour. How about Gutho waving bye-bye to the fucking Raiders when they make a mistake?
How about the Gutherino
and Mitchell
in
Moses,
its entirety?
Everything. Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
But then also the fact...
Parramatta were afforded all of the respect that they were due. Zero.
No, they were afforded all of the respect they were due, which was the respect leading up to the kickoff of the grand final for making the grand final. There was all the fucking due respect that any other team that's ever made a grand final was given. But then they got fucking analed. They were analed that hard. Vladimir Putin's watching it going, fuck, this has gone south very quickly. I feel sorry for them. But the other one was that, Fish talking at the celebration breakfast afterwards, where he's gone on and said, Parramatta are our sons. And the crowds, fucking, what were they chanting? Para
we
sucks
hate Penrith or we hate Penrith or something like that. Yeah. We hate Parramatta, sorry, yeah. We hate Para, yeah.
Here's the thing. I had a listener of the show, and I hope they don't mind me sharing this story. They ended up going to the Tigers' grand final. Was it breakfast, lunch? I don't know, whatever it was.
Yeah, grand final lunch on the Friday. Yep.
And there was a certain speaker that is prominent now in the West Tigers, who was asked by during the Q&A, who do you hope wins on Sunday? And the answer was, this person sent me a text, right? And he goes, the answer was, I played a lot of my career at Penrith, so I really hope they get there. And then finished with, and I fucking hate Parramatta. And they said, and they said in the text, like you could feel that, like he meant that, like that was a reason. I hope Penrith win because I fucking hate Parramatta. That shit's real, right?
Yeah.
Like generationally, Penrith has been looked down on by Parramatta for being further west than they are.
Yep.
Yeah. Melbourne made fun of Penrith. Made fun of the Penrith boys from being from the area when they won the grand final. So that whole fucking area has been made fun of for generations. A lot of those players grew up with fucking less than nothing. If you go to this fucking Struggle Street area that SBS did their show on, fucking 3 houses up, could very well have been a couple of the fucking St Mary's boys. Like, that area has its fucking struggles. So, for them to celebrate a bit about beating Big Brother, there's fucking nothing wrong with that. And the fact for Fish to come out and say, no disrespect, but we are the greatest Panthers team ever, well, fucking oath. They just went back to back. Yeah. No one else has done that.
Surely no one, like...
Oh, it was massive.
That's just facts. That's no...
So who's bitching? So who's talking about that? Like MG and them got Brandy and them, wasn't they?
No. They're the ones. So they went straight to Brandy and MG for comment because they're the Panthers that are still in the media spotlight.
Yeah.
And Brandy's gone, well, I didn't go back to back, and MG said they've done it. Like no one else did. Like we won the first premiership.
Yeah.
And that 2003 side beat a star-studded Roosters team.
Look at what this team's done for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone that says they're not the greatest Panthers team in history is a...
So yeah, I haven't heard anything about that though. Like, so who's complaining then?
It was your usual clickbait fucking.
Oh look, at the end of the day, like if the fucking media over the last month, I mean, look, it's a low bar, but holy fuck, they are limbo masters. Is the effortless way that they fucking have gotten under it in the last month. It's absolute fucking clown city over there. The fucking TV shows.
Yeah.
The things they say on the TV shows that generate the articles that they put on the websites.
The whole inbred nature.
Of
the thing. It absolutely fucks. So
it's absolutely fucking cousin fucked incorporated over there. I mean, the way that they're fucking intermingling.
It certainly is. But finishing off what was a fucking great year of football. Like
still fucking going. Mr. fucking gets on the fucking Facebook group the other day and like, what are you going to do this weekend when there's no football? Motherfucker, the World Cup started.
I don't recognise.
I saw that well.
Doesn't show up to one meet-up and he's just disconnected from rugby league altogether.
I was like, oh my god.
I don't recognise that Australian team as mine.
Fucking, it's got a bunch of little fellas in it.
Nah.
It would have had more, but none of them wanted to play.
Yeah, well, I mean, they wanted to play for Samoa, and fucking see how well that went for them. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, fucking hell, wasn't that bad?
Glenn, have you watched any of these? Have you watched any of these World Cup games so far?
Caught the highlights.
Between the fucking NFL and this World Cup, I'm gonna be fucking dead in 3 weeks because it's like I'm not watching the 11:30 games unless Australia features in it. But this 4:30 shit is just like it's lucky that the sun's coming up earlier, it makes it a little bit easier. But fucking hell,
yeah.
I was surprised by that. I was surprised by the England Samoa result. That I expected Samoa to be far stronger, and maybe it'll turn out that it'll be a blip on the radar of their campaign. But
they're an absolute clown state for rugby league. Samoa, fucking write them off. And like Vossi was saying, send them home.
Oh, like,
Jesus!
Like the problems is like the systemic problems in the Samoan rugby league, with the players writing the letter a couple of years ago to try and get Matt Parrish removed as the coach because he was, and then they sort of retracted and said, the players that signed, they didn't know what it was that they're actually putting their signatures on, they didn't know the contents, and we're all good. I mean, the fact that they go over there with 6-7 Panthers players in there, including one of the halves, I mean, fuck me. They should, when they take the rugby league field, they should look like they fucking know each other, given that there's half the team is Panthers, right? And I mean, sure you haven't got Yo and Cleary, but you've got fucking Luai there.
Yeah.
I mean, surely you can get something going. But man, and like that game, I mean, the result was worse than it probably was, given the fact that there was the sim binning, and they probably put on about 4 tries. Then or thereafter. But I mean, it was definitely it was definitely a solid, take sim binning away, it's still a solid 40-point loss, of which there's no fucking
pondering this the other day, after that one. Do you remember? Cast your mind back to State of Origin and international tours of yesteryear. They were never high quality games of football. Because just for that fact, again, you would think there are amazing players in them, and they should have been able to do something, but they were just disjointed. There was no obvious continuity between the players, and everyone was just a little bit out of sorts. Is that something that the Tier 1 nations have learned to deal with over time, that the emerging nations haven't? Maybe,
because, I mean, England looked pretty fucking slick. New Zealand, this morning looked fucking pretty good. Australia looked amazing. Australia haven't played a test match since 2019 or something, and they looked fucking complete. They also
get the benefit of big State of Origin.
We have and there are Origin combinations and all that sort of thing going in there as well. But I mean, still, having said that, I mean, this is they're mixing Queensland and New South Wales sides together. Haven't played and there's not a lot of club combinations in there.
Yeah.
And look, they looked amazing. They looked the complete set. And then when you talk about non-tier 1 nations, I mean, Ireland of all fucking teams, I mean, they were playing Jamaica, who,
Well, what was that I read about them the other day? Don't have a rugby league field and.
Yeah, and they scored right on half time. They scored their first points in World Cup history, and that was a penalty goal from about halfway. But Ireland, they had Luke Keary, looked like a fucking god, just doing everything. But the rest of them still did. The rest of them they did their jobs, and you can talk about the level of the opposition. And I'm interested to see how they go ahead. Italy looked really good as well against Scotland. Lebanon didn't look too bad either. I mean, they went down to New Zealand, who would have to be, favourites or second favourites for the tournament, probably. They went down 34-12. But there was a situation there where they had a binning as well with your mates. I was going to say your mate, Glennie, but it was your mates. Fucking Dewey and Farah got sent off. Farah, as a fucking trainer, got sent off.
Considering the influence that the Tigers have in that team, that's high fucking praise.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, you think when you're looking at these nations that aren't the big four or whatever. I mean, in Lebanon, you go they're fairly low on the totem pole. However, they've got Moses and Dewey in the halves, and I mean that's an NRL. I was going to say NRL quality, but I mean, the NRL representing the halves combination.
NRL registered.
Their contracts are registered with the NRL, and they're included in the top 30 squads of their side.
Those guys have played rugby league before.
But Lebanon didn't look too bad against New Zealand, who had the benefit of a period there where Dewey was sim bin for asking the referee to give him some fucking calls, I believe was the phrase.
Jesus.
And Farah must have said something too, because he was also sent off as a trainer.
That's bizarre.
in that game. So but the games continue. We've got France versus Greece first thing tomorrow, and then we've got Tonga versus PNG for first thing the next day, and the day after that Wales versus Cook Islands. So it's all happening, and then we move to the weekend. So it'll be first thing Saturday morning for Australia's next game. So yeah, it's good so far. I just love the vibe though, the small in-goal areas, the shit British commentators, the
shit British people in the stands,
and just a ton of players where you're you have to play a game of is he playing the Super League or park football? You got to try and figure it out. But yeah, no, it's enjoyable so far. Australia's looking good. All the big guns are firing, so hopefully it means that by the time we distill it down to the final four, we get a solid semi-finals and final series.
Yeah,
out of it all. What else? got in the World Cup there for earlier than I anticipated. But I'll tell you, did you see the highlights of the New Zealand game?
Yes.
Did you see the try that fucking Joe Manu scored?
Outrageous.
I mean, that motherfucker is absolute, like, at the top of his peak of his fucking abilities right now.
Yeah.
And like obviously a weapon.
On him, like with the biggest criticism of him being that he's not involved enough. Now, I don't think necessarily it's because he's lazy.
I mean, he's involved as much.
Well, he's
for
a centre,
example,
you know.
Yeah, he's involved probably as much as Tommy is in Origin as a centre. Like, I mean, he's got a fairly loose. I mean, maybe not that much, but I mean, he's involved as much, if not more, than any other centre.
Oh, yeah,
in a game of football.
But comparing him to, like, you know, like the Justin Hodges of the world, who if the ball wasn't getting to him, he'd chuck the shits and go looking for it.
Or he'd be out for fucking half the year.
When you've got someone.
Unlike Joey Manu, absolutely fucking clean-skinned paragon of the game.
Do you move him into a position? Is he just biding his time till Teddy moves on, or like do you move him into a position where he touches the ball more?
Honestly, the Roosters have the players that they don't need him to touch the ball like Teddy does, right? Plus, he's getting paid a fortune. Like he's getting paid like a fullback or half money at a club with an unlimited salary cap that is a contender for premierships year in, year out.
Yeah.
I think he's on pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
I think he's doing okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's got anything to worry about. The only thing he's got to worry about is when Latrell's got the shits. That's it.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that worries him. Then obviously, then he's got to, what goes through his mind then is, Latrell's elbow. So otherwise, yeah, dude's living the dream. And scoring tries like that fucking try this morning.
You had the opportunity to call that the Latrellbow and have the title of the episode right there.
Oh, well, look, you did it anyway, so let me write it down.
Love
that still counts. People will be like, what? Latrell ain't done shit. Again, this time, lately, we can live in the past.
What have you done for me lately, Latrell?
Yeah, we can. Latrell was good though for Australia as well. I will say.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that fucking look he gets in his eyes, where you can just tell, like he's just like, I'm going to do something now.
Yeah. Imagine that. Imagine having that level of confidence in your ability and just to switch it on, switch it off. Yep, I'm gonna be great today. Tomorrow,
I'm the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, right now. Tomorrow,
undecided. And he really does have that. He really does have that switch too, because I don't know if you guys watched did you guys watch the knockout? I was like on the day, would have been the day after we got back from the meetup, but they had the semis and the finals and stuff, and so I just sort of just camped in front of the telly watching those. And in the knockout final, he was fucking terrible. Like he was shooting out of the line, and when he makes a tackle, picking the guy up, dumping him on the ground. It's like he was he was the shit. Like he was the bad Latrell that's just like angry and.
Yeah.
I mean, like I think he was enjoying. I mean, he was enjoying himself up to the point where they weren't winning. And
yeah.
And then
it's well. Hang on,
man,
how much have you contributed to that?
Yeah, because he really was kind of. I mean, because with the Walgett Aboriginal connection, I think was the name of the side that he plays with in the knockout, and it's a team very heavily dominated by like the Rose family. And so you've got like 3 Roses in there. George was only on for probably one set because I mean, he's let himself go to say the least. Carrying a bit of COVID weight, but his brothers.
Fucking George Rose. What was the weight he was carrying before COVID?
All the pizza in Wuhan.
Oh fuck!
But like his brother and stuff are playing as well, and it just seems like everything goes through those guys. And Latrell's stuck out and playing. I can't remember if he was fullback or his left centre, but whatever it was, he was way less involved than he needed to be. In games like that where individual brilliance, you can really run amok. But especially because they play a lot of games in a short time, and the fitness is not, it's not there. Yeah, because a lot of these guys are like part-time footballers and that, and then you got your sprinkling of NRL stars in between the sides. Didn't do enough. They lost the final.
Yeah.
Unlucky, angry Latrell. But look, he's loving playing for Australia though. He's enjoying himself beating up on Fiji. Who Fiji, like, let's be real, Fiji, they weren't as bad as, like, you look at them, they took a reasonably heavy loss, but I mean, they were sort of up for the game, like, for the duration. They didn't like capitulate or anything. Australia were just fucking incredible, and especially like once Harry Grant came on as well, like shit just snapped together amazingly. And I mean, Harry Grant's probably as good a season as Ben Hunt had. I think Harry Grant might have killed him off as
fucking
playing a part as a nine.
Like I was reading all this shit about Mal justifying his fucked up weird selections, and the cunt just keeps chopping and changing. Like he was talking about, people are like, well, hang on, why did you pick, Daly over Nathan? And he's like, well, Origin's the pinnacle of our sport, and it's the toughest contest, and Daly had a great Origin campaign, so I've decided to go with him. And then it gets down to, Kurt Capel's lost his spot, and he goes, look, regular season's really important, and I don't think Kurt had a great regular season. Obviously
Look,
with where the Broncos finished. And
cast your mind back, however many years ago it was when Mal decided that he was gonna become a politician.
Yeah,
he's not a very good politician, and it lasted like 3.5 minutes of one interview before he fucking cracked the shits and pulled the pin on it all. I think Mal is just basically not an intellectual, if we're being honest, and when he comes and when he gets forced into a corner to justify his selections, I think he selects who he wants to. The side played amazingly well, so there's not much you can complain about. But having said that, when he gets asked about these individual selections, I think he's just freestyling off the dome.
Yeah,
and
Mal Meninga is not an intellectual. Subscribe to Nate's YouTube channel for more revelatory comments.
Smash that like button. Click button. What's this
this will make fucking Nate Sports. There will be articles written about that.
Everyone.
Oh yeah.
Stop concentrating on Kanye West thinking white lives matter. Get on this instead.
Nate gets fired up over Mal Meninga's political career. Look out! Click here to find out more.
What's your opinion on George Floyd, Nate?
Well,
please stop. Please stop. You've got that look in your eye, Nathan. Stop it.
Was Virgil murdered by Louis Vuitton, Nate?
I heard Virgil had fentanyl in his system, and Louis wasn't kneeling on him at all in the wash-up of things.
Is Mal Meninga releasing unauthorised colourways of your sneakers, Nate?
And also, I represent 75% of his of Mal Meninga's business.
So good.
You, Kanye.
If you know about Kanye and Adidas and Yeezys and what that cooked cunt's been going on his Instagram.
I'll tell you what, we'll do an episode on that shit. But again, I've got this soft spot for Arpy, and I think Arpy's the form hooker of the competition over the last 10 rounds and the entire fucking finals campaign.
Yeah.
However, I can understand that if you have a Queensland Origin halves combination, there is, Nate, to your point before, something about some sort of rep combination being valuable in a World Cup. Cool. But Harry Grant's not even starting.
Yeah, I mean, Appy's playing for Fiji, though, too, so he's not a contender in that respect.
Well, I'm sure
the decisions we're talking about here are like that, your Damien Cooks v. your Ben Hunts or Harry Grants and, whatever.
Yeah, but again, for Damien Cook to not even get a sniff.
Yeah, but also remember, like, Harry Grant was pretty fucking elite in Origin as well.
Amazing.
So, I mean, when they're rolling it out and going, okay, Teddy, they're going, okay, Teddy's Teddy, he's got to be number one, undisputed. Then they've just gone, the rest of that has gone, Queensland 1, Queensland Spine, but with Teddy, because I mean he's the Australian captain at the moment, so he's got to get his way. He's got to get his way in. But also as well, you got your pool matches as well. So Mal's going to chop and change, and like the thing is, like the chopping and changing part, that his rationalizations for why he picks players or whatever they are, but the chopping and changing, I mean, at this stage, it's not real. Like, Australia's going to play Scotland next, and we're going to fucking pump them because they got pumped by Italy.
Yeah.
and then after that, in our final pool game, we're going to play Italy. Who aren't going to really put up too much of a challenge, you'd think either. So what do you base the team that you put into the semis or the first round of the playoffs? Like, you've had 3 games where you pumped opposition that's well beneath you, and there's the combinations are the combinations, and you're not going to develop new combinations in one game a week across another 2 weeks. So it's kind of, but also at the same time, I'm certain that he's going to try and cycle through the squad as well. And like, this next game is going to see a bunch of players that didn't play the first game get a run. But you would need more international football.
Yeah.
So the sides obviously become apparent and
that's it.
Pick themselves somewhat.
Yeah. No. There you go. Very good.
All right. Hey, Glenn, did you hear about Brooksy potentially heading up to the Knights a year late?
Yeah, it's back on.
Being unleashed to Newcastle.
Did you hear how much the Tigers apparently are going to have to kick in?
No, tell me. Tell me.
900.
How much extra do they have to fucking pay on top of that then? That's got to be nearly all of it, right?
Yeah, like I think they might have to pay like 200, 250 or something like that.
Look, even in his most unleashed form, Luke Brooks is worth 200 Gs. Let's be honest, it's a fucking great deal for Newcastle. They'll get 200 out of him.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
They might even get 600 out of him.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be the greatest fucking steal in history. For the Tigers,
value-wise.
For the Tigers to be eating that much dead
But
cap.
do you remember, though, like in 20... We'll say, okay, we made finals 2010, 2011. So, like 2014, 15, we were still paying, like, Gareth Ellis, who hadn't played for the Tigers for 2 years, Chris Hyington, who was playing first grade for the Sharks, and like, we were still paying all these guys that hadn't played for like 2 or 3 seasons for us. So Brooksy will be...
They'll talk about Desi for back-ended deals. Yeah. But Jesus Christ. He got some comps out of that shit.
Fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think they all need to make up their minds. At the end of the day, he's either going to be part of at least the next 4 years with Sheedsy and Benji, or he's probably better off going to Newcastle. If they don't see the next 4 years being, the best 4 years of his career, which we've been hearing since his debut.
I think he needs more than a change. Honestly. I really
so he needs
worry
a change and
some fucking proper coaching and instruction.
Well, and that's the point. I think if he goes to Newcastle, I think he's had a bad rap. He's had some ordinary games, but he's played behind some pretty well beaten forward packs over the years, and he's also been the scapegoat. And whilst certain elements of the club have come out publicly and supported him, he's been unfairly singled out for the Tigers being rubbish and that's because of the size of his contract and the fact that he plays halfback. But if he goes to Newcastle and he has access to Andrew Johns, for instance, who can, obviously can get him in there, he can be part of that Newcastle culture, and I think that's the best case scenario for Luke Brooks.
Yep. And that's my thing. The Tigers need to decide, well, hang on, if we keep him, then we need to decide exactly what we want out of him, and we need to decide how we get him that. Because the thing with Luke Brooks is he still makes poor decisions. It's not like he's a great 7 and he's playing with a bunch of bums. It's not like he's put up just as many attacking bombs as Nathan Cleary, except the Tigers can't catch them.
Yeah, you're right.
There needs to be some dedicated skill improvement or repertoire widening, I guess.
Yeah,
from his point of view.
I agree.
Whether he gets out there in another club, it needs to happen.
Yeah, I agree. But I think his best position at this stage of his career, I think he'd make a better running 6. But then, as far as the Tigers go, You've got Dewey, who's probably our best option at 6, and then I still think Hastings is our best option at 7. So I think it works best for everyone if he moves on.
Yeah, and look, the thing is as well is that they released Zane Musgrove. The West Tigers released Zane Musgrove today.
Yeah,
as well, which means that like they're clearing the decks, and there's potential something like Sheeney's shopping in England at the moment. Potentially for a forward, or maybe Clemmer might be part of the deal to send him up.
Frizzle
and Frizzle Frizzle would be better for the Knights if they sent him than Clemmer, because Clemmer actually played a good season last year.
Yeah.
And the thing that Brooksy, like you said, the thing that he needs, I mean, if he can get behind Clemmer and the Saifidis and they have a good season,
yeah,
then he's going to be in a far better place.
Frizzle's been he's been the name that's been most widely speculated would come the Tigers' way if there was a player swap to some degree. So I don't hate that, but I would rather see...
Where did that come from, though? Is that just Tigers fans thinking that they could get
No, look, and again, you how much weight you put in the source, but it's through the media, and it's, be it Fox or whatever else. So how much truth there is, I don't know. I don't have a clue, but he's of all the names that they could speculate, he's been reasonably consistent as far as coming the Tigers' way. But I don't know. I don't know what their plans are, and it's I guess we'll see. Come November 1, there'll be a fair bit of movement. I think for players coming off contract, and I wouldn't be surprised if they pull the trigger on Brooks to Newcastle.
Yeah, okay.
That noise is really bad.
Oh well, this is what it is. You just go to soldier on there, little digger.
I am soldiering on.
You just got to get through it, lad.
I'm just more concerned when you listen back or whatever, and it happens to be playing throughout the entire fucking audio. But
yeah, it's not playing on my side because I can see the waveform things from the actual recording, and like when I'm not doing anything, it's just silent. So yeah, can't help you. Especially if it's as bad as you're saying as well. Like it would be very visible. You'd think, there's nothing there when I'm not doing it, nothing's happening. So
fair.
Let's just put it down as a quirk of the old micro shit product, and we need to get some, and if we knew anyone that worked at Microsoft, we could get them onto it, and maybe fix your fucking dated aging shit before we take our free money and take it over to like Zoom Inc.
I don't know. We sort of know.
Or Chat Roulette.
We know the after hours habits of people that work for Microsoft, so we probably should do less business with a company like that.
Yeah. Now, I was just working my way through the Facebook group, just seeing comments and things like that that people wanted to talk about, and I see one here from. We saw the story about the Dragons presentation night, and only 3 players turned up there. The awards night, and the women turned up there, but 3 of the men players turned up.
Did we talk about this, or was that you and I on the members-side, Glennie?
That might have been you and I.
Okay, that's fine.
We had a tweet from Matt Cooper today saying, I can't believe 3 players went to the Red V Awards night. Actually, I can. The club has no loyalty and honour anymore. That all stopped when Wayne Bennett left.
That's a hot
That
is a fucking hot take.
Now, we just got Reese in the Facebook group, though. He's put a comment on there and said, I can't wait to hear Glenn's views on this.
Who said that?
Reese in the Facebook group.
Reese Wesser.
Well, yeah. His cousin with a different last name, the same first name. Now, so I guess he just wants to hear you call Dragons fans cunts or something.
I guess.
Please.
I don't know why my opinion on... I don't... I feel like that's a reasonably biased assessment from a former player during the club's heyday, who obviously played under Bennett. But are the Dragons better? Are they better off?
Yeah,
had Bennett stayed or what?
How
did
long
you hear
was
the thing
Wayne
about
Bennett at the club though.
What's that?
He was on a pinch hit there for 2 years, 3 years.
3 years. Yeah.
That's what
year before the grand final win, and he announced he was leaving sort of around May the year after, right? Yeah.
Like, it's not like Wayne Bennett was this stalwart that built the club and gave it its culture. And,
yeah.
You know,
he went there to get him over a hump, and he was in there to pinch coach to get him to the title.
He's a granny fucking mercenary. Like, really, call it what it is.
Yeah, and to be fair, he's been gone a long while.
Yeah,
a decade.
You know, like
literally a decade.
There's been no honour in that club for 10 years. I agree with it.
What Glennie and I discussed on the membisode was that has absolutely nothing to do with disloyalty or, you know, unrest in the club or anything like that, and absolutely everything to do with fucking terrible planning and understanding of its players.
Doing it a month into their off season.
Well, you know, take it back a step. Let's say at the beginning of the year, you know, everyone's looked at the calendar and they've gone, let's be really fucking positive. Here's when the grand final's going to be. COVID permitting, of course. So here's the fucking grand final. You know, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, partner, parents, whoever the fuck. This is the date that I will stop playing if we make and win the grand final, which I hope we do this year. Please book our end of season family holiday after this time. So the wives, girlfriends, partners, family, whoever the fuck it was, have gone, cool, let's take this disposable income from my young, very well-paid husband and plan or partner, whatever the fuck, and plan an overseas holiday. And that shit's planned, you know, at the beginning of the year or 6 months in advance. It's fucking done. Then for the Dragons to come out and say, we've got an awards night here when everyone's usually on holiday. Every other fucking year, everyone's on holidays. That is close to the stupidest move I've seen a front office do in ages.
Can you imagine the Tigers players looking at the calendar and ringing their family members going, guys, just don't book any holidays until after the grand final. Because, you know, if we make the finals, you know, and go all the way through and win the grand final, I'll still be playing. You won't be able to go on holiday. Just the absolute laughter on the other end of the phone.
I'll tell you what, if you make the grand final, I'll spring for a fucking satellite in my hotel for 80 minutes.
I will charter a flight back from the holiday I booked for you to participate in the final series and the grand final.
I will jump on Jeff Bezos' fucking spaceship and duck in and see you.
Oh, fuck. Well, yeah, why are you going to take it too far? I was taking the piss out of my own club and you had to go there to Jeff Bezos' spaceship. Fuck me. Quality.
Maybe if Harry fucking put that as an incentive, look, you know, you guys get to the grand final, you win me a grand final, and I'll fucking send you up on a holiday into space with fucking Richard Branson or Jeff Bezos.
And we'll take Pascoe and we'll throw him out while we're up there. Fucking everyone's on board. Yeah. Everyone's on board. Give me a seat.
We'll leave him on the moon.
Yeah. We're gonna let him do a bungee, and we're gonna have a raffle to see who gets to tie the cord.
I'm going to tell him that I left my show bag outside. Could he go and get it for me?
And you know, obviously with the inertia and everything, you just fucking kick him in the direction of the sun, and just know
that he's going to end
up there. It won't happen today. It won't happen tomorrow. But eventually, he's going to fucking end up going into the sun.
Imagine that. It'd be the greatest conversion of Brooksy's career.
As Pascoe pumped his little legs all the way to the fucking sun. Oh, amazing.
Only it wouldn't get called back.
Yeah. But you were talking about like the honour and everything like that, but also and you know how the club's going. But George Burgess, he requested a release from the final year of his contract, which probably means it's going to be the end of his NRL career because it's unlikely he's going to probably get picked up anywhere else, right? But he also said that he couldn't face another preseason at the Dragons knowing the coach didn't support him. The quote was, disappointing if it's the end of my career, but I just didn't get along with Hook and he made it pretty clear to me he pretty much wrote me off. So I wasn't keen to go back and train under him, to be honest. At the end of the day, all you want is a coach to believe in you. And there's no point going back there if the coach doesn't believe in me. He wanted to make it clear that he was not bagging the club, just being honest about his personal situation.
Jesus.
Fuck.
And then he went on to say that he wasn't bagging the club, he got on well with everyone, and then name-checked pretty much everybody in the entire fucking organisation except for Hook. So it was the coach's preference in the end, and I'm man enough to accept that. I just wasn't willing to go back into that environment where I was fighting against the tide.
Wow.
It's something that's come out again and again and again about Hook, that he's just so obviously for players that he likes personally.
Yeah.
Like,
thus the continued usage of, Macca and...
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing you can't argue about, I mean, he probably feels super vindicated. He's like, fucking, I told you Benny Hunt was a good one. I fucking told you.
That might justify that one.
Everybody I want to put in the side is a genius call.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, fucking hell.
I'm just going to scroll down here. Oh, May Karma. So,
yes.
Your mate Tyrone, should have fucking wishboned with a suspected hip dislocation. And that one there is fairly long term, right? 3 to 5 months, they say.
But that makes you feel like a right rat bag.
Well, I mean, it's very hard to boot a slut when your fucking legs just hanging off the... like a flop of, like a hunk of meat, right? like an action figure when you fucking...
kicking it like Woody from Toy Story.
Like, oh no, Ratbag's coming. Just collapses and plays dead.
I've got my friend in you.
Oh, fuck me dead.
Do you reckon all the Mays, do you reckon they've all got in fucking Sharpie, do you reckon they've all got Cleary written on their foot in handwriting in Sharpie?
Oh, fucking hell.
Now, I think, are there any other ones? I obviously want to save the Seabold thing to last, so I think we might be just the last. We got Kamali has been named to be the inaugural NRLW head coach for the Tigers, which, I mean, there's so many jokes about that, but the fact is he was the coach of the Tasha Gale side, right, before he got the coach those other fucking muppets.
Perfectly logical, and I think he'll do a good
There's
job.
Probably the majority of the squad are women he's no doubt coached already, and I wish him the best. And
he'll probably be thankful to be coaching a side of human beings that would run out and have a fucking go for him.
Of rugby league players. Of not just NRL registered players.
Now, and then when we get to the Seabold thing, I actually put a thing in the thread and I said, listen, please add any questions you have as replies to this message so I can be sure to cover everything for you all. And I got barely any questions. So I'd like to, and in fact, barely any questions. They're mostly just statements and ordinary ones at that. So I can throw the floor open to you fellas to ask me the burning questions that you need to know so I can try and give the people what they want.
What the people want is for you to either be fucking pissed off about it or for you to try and justify why it's a fucking great thing for the club and you can't wait for the age of Siebes.
Right.
Personally,
I can give both of those.
Well, exactly.
I mean, easily.
To anyone that knows you.
Been doing it for 13 years. Yeah. I'm fucking professional that shit.
Personally, I don't fucking care. I don't care until they run out onto the field in round 1 next year and see how they actually play football, and then contrast that with how they play in, say, round 5. And then maybe in round 7 we'll have an idea of how he's brought them together. Like right now, it's all speculation. He did very well as an assistant. He did very well as an assistant at South Sydney until he fucking white-handed Madge. Then he did very well with a great team that was already well coached. Then he went to the Broncos and did terribly with a terrible team.
No. So I hate to be like painted in this situation to like fucking try and defend this fucking guy, but you got to remember like that rabbit side was dead and out of finals, and then he brought him back, and that's when he won Coach of the Year. Then he went to the Broncos and took them to finals. Then the next year was the second year of the shit shit.
It wasn't that the Rabbits were great before he took them over.
No, he's the one that made the left side best side thing for the Rabbits. That became a thing.
That's right. Sorry.
Yeah, that happened. That happened under his watch.
I stand corrected.
And
that's true.
And the other thing is with the Broncos. I mean, when he stopped coaching the Broncos, they were 15th. Because you got to remember, he had all that thing with the WhatsApp shit and the people saying that like he fucked someone or someone fucked his daughter or someone fucked someone.
Oh, and he went full American, didn't he?
And then he went nuts, and then he sort of took like a leave of absence, and he didn't coach a game for them after round 13. At which point Peter Gentle took the reins and lost 7 games in a row to deliver them their spoon. So even that era has been, mischaracterized, which I didn't even realize until I fucking just started looking into it when I had to actually care about this fucking guy.
That's right. He did. He legit was fucking. Like I've hired a detective agent, cyber security company to find out the person, and they will trace this message back through fucking WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And then it was like, I'm going to be with my family and went back to Sydney or whatever, and then didn't coach again after round 13.
Good times.
And of which, and of which, and then Peter Gentle finished the season off for him, and and the rest is history. And like, let me tell you. Doesn't matter who was the coach at the time. The important fact is that the Broncos got the spoon. Because hashtag fuck the Broncos. And it's something that they can never avoid. I'm not pissed off at the situation per se. I am pissed off about just the fucking like Penn and Desi using their various contacts in the media to sort of wage a fucking battle through the media. And I just hate that shit, like dragging the club through the shit. And then there's all these other little annoyances that I have through the whole press. Because, I mean, people know I'm not a fan of, Scott Penn at all. But it's same, and like, look, I love Desi, and I thank Desi for everything he's done. But at the same time, he went all in with his fucking chips. Well, let's go do the timeline. The first thing that I'm annoyed about is like, I don't like the way that Scott Penn did the KPI thing to get an extension on the contract, because the only possible outcome of putting KPIs on a coach for one season to see if they get an extension, for the future, the only possible outcome of that is the coach to not try anything and to be like super conservative, not taking any risk because they're trying to meet this KPI thing. And so, like that, I think that was a bad move in the first place. And then but then Desi pushed all his chips in with the Pride jersey business and did what he did best, which is like the us versus them, and we're going to it's the playing group or the football department versus the like HQ or like front office or whatever. And so he's gone and done that. And you know what? If they had won. Even if they didn't finish 6th as per his KPIs, even if they had just made the finals, I reckon that would have been fine, and he would have got his extension, and then none of this shit would have been played out. But the thing is, if you're going to make an enemy out of the front office, you need to get results to justify it. And if it absolutely fails and you lose 7 games in a trot at the end of that, then what you've done is you've pushed all your fucking chips in on a play, made an enemy of the people who pay your bills, and not being able to justify it by saying, yeah, but it brought the boys together and we fucking won out through the rest of the season.
Fuck you, say what you like about me, but I've given us a finish to be,
Exactly, and the old famous Scott Pennism that came out with the around twos getting the arse in 2015. The results driven business. Well, motherfucker, I mean, if you're going to do shit like that, like inflammatory shit like that to people who you don't have the best relationship with in the first place, then you'd better fucking get the results. And he didn't. And then not only that, and he's doubling down on that as well now. He's like saying, oh, but that thing, that, you know, that cost me the fucking, chance to get the KPIs. So now I want more money, and, I will sue you, and all that sort of shit. Like, it just fucking boggles my mind that anyone could actually defend any of that.
It was also fucking very unwise of him in a season where he had already lost his best player.
Yes.
So the minute you lose Turbo,
yep,
I would have been fucking into them going, hey, I know I've got KPIs at the end of the season. We need to sit down and reassess those because the reigning Dally M fucking medalist is gone.
Yep.
So obviously those KPIs were built, considering obviously he might have a few injuries, but they were obviously built with him in mind being in the team. He's gone now. What do you expect of me? Or,
yes.
How do we work through this as partners? Which he obviously didn't do because he's still on the outer.
Yeah, and then the additional stuff that he's trying to drag through now, like these emails and things like that. Now, the situation with John Bonacero, like, approving everything and then saying he didn't tell Desi about it. Like, anybody who knows anything about the fucking structure and how Desi works and the people that work for and with Desi, there is zero fucking chance that this guy did anything without his say-so or tell him or anything like that. So, like, whatever this bullshit, this email shit, this is a guy who is a Desi guy standing up to take a bullet to help Desi out. So, yeah, like, I wouldn't believe, that's it's fucking bullshit. And so you got a bunch of fans that are just fucking crying out of their vaginas about this situation. And, like, you've got to look at it realistically and go, fucking dude, love Desi all you like, but he fucking made his bed somewhat, and if he didn't make his bed, he certainly messed it up a bit, and he's continually to fucking Rick James on the bed, saying fuck your bed and just kicking it with with dirty shoes on, and so like, come on now. That doesn't matter how you feel about Scott Penn. Like, you got to fucking take a step, remove yourself from the situation somewhat, and you go, listen. This guy's fucked, but this guy, he's fucking made his bed. So that's the level. Like, my aggravation is just really with the shit being played out in the media and everything like that. I just fucking hate it, and it's unnecessary, and it's also provoked somewhat by people like Zorba and fucking Bulldog Richie and stuff who've written fucking tens of thousands of words of just bullshit. Like, it's mostly bullshit too, and it goes back to what we're saying about the Fox, the generation of the content and all of that sort of shit. This has been fucking great for all involved, on that side of things. So then we move to Seabolt. I think, like, well, actually, it's just the final thing on Desi is people who love Desi now and are angry that he's gone and he's been done dirty or whatever like that are the same people that would be DMing me through the season or just outright message me, or not messaging me, just fucking bleeding out into the ether about, why won't Desi fucking give this young kid a run instead of Brad Parker, Morgan Harper? Like, name your person. We got this young guy who's fucking tearing up, blah blah blah. Why is he not getting a run? And then you've got the team doesn't look fit, blah blah blah. What's all the fucking how come we can't keep Josh Alloy on the field? And he always seems to get injured, and fucking Paseka's always injured, blah blah blah. You complain about all that shit, and what you're presented with now is a situation where redundant recruitment people are now gone. And when I say redundant recruitment people, I mean Crusher Cleal, who is obviously a Desi guy, has been all the way, brought some great players in the past, in the 2008 in that
was
era.
Was universally regarded as the best recruiter in rugby league for a significant period of time, and then fell off the fucking face of the earth.
Yeah, the current Manly players that he has brought to the club in the most recent Hasler tenure, Kieran Foran, the end. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. He's gone. The pathway stuff is great. The Fultons have brought, like, I mean, there's some issues around the Pride jersey, but they're the guys that have brought in. It's not Blacktown, it's the Fultons who've single-handedly, they brought in your guys like, Hamolis and, Schuster and your Kohlers and these sorts of guys. So we're fine acquiring, younger players. That's not an issue. We had assistant coaches in the side loved the guy, Michael Monaghan, loved him as a player. A yes man to Desi and offers nothing as a coach. He's going to be gone. Chad Randall offers nothing except a fucking legendary father to the club. He's gone. He's gone to the Dogs to join his mate Latrellbow. So they're gone. So what we're going to do is, then the new coach comes in. He's going to bring in his own assistants. And honestly, if he brings in people that are slightly more lively and football educated than, cadavers, that's a profit at that point. The strength and conditioning's gone. Desi's guy's gone. Donnie's last day was today. I saw him post about it on Facebook. So, again, he was amazing back in the day, but I don't think he's got, during COVID, he was like pretty much an anti-vaxxer from what his Facebook was telling me.
Fuck.
So, look, I don't feel like he's at the forefront of modern strength and conditioning and technology. So, again, you get a new coach in there, especially one that, considers himself, a more modern coach. You're going to get a better strength and conditioning people in there. And at the end of the day, before fucking Seabold even picks up his clipboard, if you can keep Josh Aloye, Paseka, and Tommy Turbo on the field for 3 games more, they're already in the finals. Like, it's not a huge ask. Yeah, it's not like a situation where he's walking into the Broncos and he's dealing with a spine of Jermaine Osako, Fat Milford, Jake Turpin as hooker, and fucking who was their 7? I can't remember. And then when it wasn't Milford, it was Katoni Staggs as the 5'8", and it was like late era washed.
What's his name? Plays for the Souths. Nicarima.
He was in and out of the side.
He would have had his time. Fucking, I actually looked it up the other day just to see how bad they were. But let me fucking find it. I did have it somewhere. Just give me 2 seconds. But yeah, and then when you didn't have fucking Osaka at fullback, you had late career fucking Darius Boyd. Oh, Brodie Croft, that was his halfback.
That's right.
So no matter what he does as a coach, having one Tom Trbojevic and fucking Daly, having the Australians having the Australian 7 and fucking New South Wales and recent Dally M Player of the Year in one of those dominant seasons of all time in your spine, instead of Darius Boyd and fucking Anthony Milford.
Brodie Croft and Siebes telling everyone he was going to fucking trace something back through the WhatsApps. How the fuck did I forget that golden age of rugby league?
I think as a Penrith fan, you had more positive things to be focusing on.
I can't think of any.
That's right. So, like, there's been a lot of talk. I mean, there's this weird talk about, like Laurie Daly coming in as like this over, this. Like, I think if he comes in at all, I don't think he can, due to his ties with TAB. He tried to get a role with the Tigers a couple of years ago, the same thing, and he was Laurie Daly. He was knocked back from he was going to be halves coach or something, I think, for the Tigers a couple of years ago, and because of his ties with the TAB, the NRL knocked it on its head. We've got a betting sponsor at the moment, so I don't think that's going to happen. It's a PR thing, anything. I mean, he's talking about potentially like Flano as an assistant, and then they're also talking about like getting like Frank Ponisi from the Storm as the GM for the football department. And
mate, that's the first time now that he's associated with or speculated to be associated with Manly. It's the first time you've ever pronounced his name like that. Every other time, no, Penisy.
Oh, penisy, yeah. And the thing, and I've been chatting to some of my mates in footy, and they're just like, I don't think he'd lead the Storm, but if he did, he's fucking enormous because he's the best in the game at his job. And I'm saying, like, look, all I give fuck, put Flano in as a fucking assistant, get fucking Penisy in there as to lead the football department. Our cap instantly our salary cap doubles. The boys are stronger than any other side because they're on some fucking secret Russian fucking Diana Bowl.
Why don't you fucking get Lance Armstrong to do your fucking strength and conditioning?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden they just turn into these fucking 7 foot fucking beasts that they can pay twice as much. and look, in 10 years' time they all might get clawed back, but they would fucking 3-peat, 4-peat, who fucking knows? It'd be like Jordan and the fucking Bulls. It'd be amazing. But yeah, look, honestly, but jokes aside, restructuring the strength and conditioning, injury rehabilitation departments of that club, in association with getting actual quality assistant coaches that bring in new innovative ideas that can challenge the head coach, and it's not just a yes man situation to a guy that's running like a completely dominant aristocracy for himself, is a great thing. And then on top of that, it's like, can this guy fucking coach? I mean, I think he probably can, but I really don't want to find out on my fucking dollar, but it looks like I am. So, I'm happy for him to prove that he can coach. I think that the immediate results are almost assured just because of how easy it is to make positive changes in the club. But yeah, we'll fucking find out. But I'm not killing myself if that's what anyone was hoping for. Sorry.
I fucking love that any joy of fucking hope that you have for this, and any success that may come in the first half of the year, could just completely unravel by Special K sending out a group DM to all his mates that says, a mate of mine told me this, and he's high up at Manly, so it must be true. But apparently Anthony Seibold, ...
The thing is, though, as well, I mean, I think that guy, I mean, like, yeah, he's not a stupid guy, and so I think that the second half of that, the second half of that final year at the Broncos, I think there were a lot of lessons in that for him. Professionally, and I don't think that he was. I mean, surely I don't think a Harvard-educated man would fucking go down that same road twice. And furthermore, I mean, he won't have to deal with. I mean, because he's actually been an assistant before, he gets on well with the Fultons and everything like that. And because Bob Fulton himself is actually dead, he's not going to have to deal with what he dealt with at the Broncos with, like, your Tallises and your Corey Parkers and your fucking Steve Renouf today. Everyone wanting Kevy, because I mean they wanted Kevy to get the job ahead of him, and when Kevy didn't get the job, that was just a constant media campaign for the entire time he was there of like, fuck this guy out. And I mean to Steve Renouf particularly, I'd just like to say, how's the fucking biggest collapse out of finals contention in the history of the game? How's that going for you now? You got your Kevy, you dumb cunt. But Steve Renouf's quote today was saying something about like he's bamboozled. He bamboozled the Broncos with psychobabble. He sucked them in with psychobabble, and now he sucked. Now he sucked Manly as well. I mean, well he was a coach at Manly before he was a coach at the Rabbits, and he's a good season. So that's one thing. Pearl. The second thing is Pearl is also the player, or not player. He's a former player. Now he's the pundit. I mean, because I wouldn't say he's proper media. He's just like he's just like Benny Elias, right? He's just a dialer quote. Yeah, he's the dialer quote that thought that Josh and Adam Reynolds were brothers.
Whoops.
So when he says something is psychobabble, it could just be something as simple as the English language that's tripped him up there, and he probably still wears fucking headgear to this day.
If he doesn't, he should.
Well, I mean.
Or perhaps the damage is done.
Well, yeah. I mean, perhaps he goes through life stumbling, fucking like Tua from the Miami Dolphins. Just fucking just stumbles around the place, fucking breakdance and throws up the fucking Cripsies and shit, just in his general life. So yeah, I hope that's answered everything that you fellas would like to know. Because you guys have to be the proxies for the Gronks out there.
Man, like I said, I really don't fucking care until we can get in and assess at round 1 what their preseason was like. Then at round 5, cool, how's it come together? Then at round 7, is Tommy injured yet, or will it be next game and their season tanks? Like that's
Listen,
at its place.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind a season where my team's not the biggest fucking laughing stock amongst this little collective group that we have here.
I don't think. Well, I think it still will be.
Listen,
but I think that you guys actually I think you guys are going to turn the corner a little bit, for 2 reasons. One, because the Dolphins. But secondly, if this Brooks thing goes through, I think it could be the turning of the corner. Because you got Appy and Paps coming in.
Yep.
If you can dump Brooksy, and you've dumped Musgrove, I mean, so look, that's not huge
unless
change,
what'll
huge
probably
personnel.
happen. Someone will make a mistake and they'll be done for fucking salary cap boarding.
Yeah.
Or
Pascal's been another year out, but then they'll get him back in because he's such a great job.
But it'll be, oh look, unfortunately we can't register Appy's contract.
Yeah, and I think that Luke Brooks will be successful with the Change Club, but it is getting rid of his contract if they can actually get more dollars off the top of it than what you said earlier, Glennie, and getting rid of guys like plotters like Musgrove. That seems to me like starting to get rid of some of the shit contracts off the books, getting some decent players in. I think it might not be it might be a turning circle of the fucking Queen Mary, but I think it's turning. Yeah. I say as someone who as someone who's heard this from you for fucking 13 years.
Finally.
On the train.
Finally fucking shit is starting to sink in.
But yeah, on the Manly side of things, it's not much to give them a couple extra games to go into the finals. It's going to be an interesting era because it's the most high risk era in the history of this show for me. Because let me tell you, if Siebes can fucking take them to a title, Broncos fans, you may as well just fucking cancel your internet bills because you can't. I swear to God, I will fucking go to town on you like fucking a baseball bat on fucking Adriana Chechik. Fucking, I will. It will be the most glorious time in the history of this show for hashtag fuck the Broncos. However, like I said, it's high risk. It could go the other way. Maybe he can't.
Really live in the darkest timeline.
Maybe he can't coach. Maybe Brodie Croft and fucking Isako and Fat Milford and Jake Turpin, maybe they were actually the fucking dominant spine of their generation and we just never got to see it. Maybe. All I know is when I weigh up all the maybes, I know which maybes are more probablys and which ones aren't. So, yeah. Good try, Broncos fans. That you're going to fucking lube up for 2023 because this year's 2022 is Dairy Queen. Fucking 2023 for you fellas is going to be KY. So,
what is 2023 going to be the year of?
It'll come to us. It'll come to us naturally and organically.
I don't think we have to say no to Dairy Queen.
No, I don't. No, I don't think so. And yeah, maybe the Dairy Queen thing something is going to persist forever. But you'll find something on TikTok in fucking January and it'll become the thing. Probably.
And I cancelled my TikTok.
I'm glad you did.
It's very.
No, seriously, TikTok. I feel that the TikTok is potentially one of the most damaging things to fucking people's attention spans that we've ever seen. Social media in general is AIDS, but TikTok in particular, I think for attention span is fucking terrible.
I consider myself fairly organised.
Yep.
For the most part, I make mistakes, and this is just like everybody else does. But I would find myself sitting there just fucking doom scrolling it
Yeah.
And could go forever. And you'd trick yourself into thinking it was a worthwhile use of your time.
Yep.
Like the algorithm had sort of worked it out that a good percentage of it was, next time you're at the gym, try this new exercise to fucking target this muscle. And you'd sit there and be like, oh, wow, I'll fucking write that down and I'll try that when I'm at the gym. Or, when you're doing fucking lateral raises, try this variation for extra fucking da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
that's
you
really
never
fucking you. Well, no, I would.
Oh, you did?
I'd kid myself thinking that I was educating myself on, new ways to keep my workouts, new and fresh and enjoyable.
Yeah.
But it was, there was 15 minutes of other dumb shit in there for that to come up. So, yeah, it bit it. TikTok can get fucked. No more CCP data for you.
That's it's a powerful move though. And like I'm not shocked, but like, I'm impressed that you actually.
Well, I was an early adopter in our little online circle.
Yes.
I was the whole holy fuck. This thing's called TikTok and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So, and now I've fucking found God and I'm off the wagon.
Jesus.
After I got fucking poor old Sharky Dave addicted.
Yeah, poor cunt. Let's face it, we haven't been good. None of us have been any good to that guy.
I don't know how you wrote me in.
Well, I mean, Glennie, you were there. You were there this most recent time.
Yeah, I was. I had nothing to do with it.
No, you had nothing. Yeah, I mean, you were the part of the reason.
Other than you and I playing Who Is It Bingo, after realising that someone was about to be removed from the premises.
So we can do some stories, but yeah. So I get the manager that wasn't our guy, Jimmy, comes up and said, "Oh no, you came up to me at the bar, and said someone's like ATL, going to be like ATL." Then I'm like, "What the fuck does that mean? Is that like RSA?" And you go, "Well, no, it means like asked to leave." So okay, so it must be Ned or Grover or something. Like we straight away
suspect
went to
one,
some piss spots.
C. Bailey Esquire.
Yeah, see, I didn't realise he was so fuck-eyed at that time. Like he was over behind.
You know what?
Me.
He handles his shit. I would have no doubt that he would be fucking Tang.
Oh no, we'll get to him.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, no, he was.
Things that precede unfortunate events.
Yeah, wow.
But we did have our mate was in a pretty ordinary state in the bathroom, so we got him out and into an Uber and made it home fine from all reports. Didn't fucking lime wash the interior of the Uber or anything too, which is frankly a fucking miracle. But no, I did get the call from Jimmy to say that about Bailey, and he said, listen, he's this fucking close. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to pour waters into him. You happy with that? Yep. Okay, good. So
there was a medical response team would have been impressed with our reaction time. And the speed at which the regulatory measures were taken, and the baskets of food and jugs of water were delivered, and lo and behold,
fuck yes,
he was resurrected.
He was resurrected.
It
was a mighty resurrection, and I want to take this time to. I mean, I said it to his face, but fucking massive thanks to Jimmy for putting his fucking venue and his life and his professional career on the line, and he was in there on his day off, part working, part hanging, and he took such great care of us. And such great care of the guys who exceeded their capacity for alcohol consumption, and I don't know if we're going to be allowed to go back there, but I hope we are, because it was actually a great spot as well.
It was a great day.
It wasn't too big. It was big enough, but it wasn't too big. And by the end of it, we sort of had taken over the whole sort of thing, front and back and whatever. And it's just a really good venue.
Here's the thing: what I've found about venues like that is that if a pub starts to get precious about cunts being pissed inside it, then it's not the sort of venue we want to hang out anyway. Like, fucking understand what you are.
Yeah, we didn't have an issue with the pub per se. We had an issue with a brand new manager who was trying to make his mark, sort of, you know what I mean? Like, and so look, a year down the track, I mean, you know, that's not going to be an issue either.
And that's the thing, yeah, exactly. So really, unless the staff were actually genuinely, you know, made to feel uncomfortable, you know, well, it was probably their fault for bringing their kids to work. But there would be, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't have to be allowed to come back, and Jimmy will fix it for us anyway, because he fucking fixes shit. That's what he does.
Yeah, and the actual and like literally the two incidents that we spoke about were probably they were literally the only two on the day, I think. So everyone else was you know, extremely well behaved, and even the guys that, you know, had a bit too much to drink. They weren't misbehaving at all. I mean, they're pretty quiet, just, you know, dealing with the complexities of the situation they'd found themselves in,
contemplating evil.
And I would like to say that, given, like, it was only a small number that started at fucking 10 a.m. and we were still going. We left at 11 p.m.
Was it that late?
Fuck yeah.
Because I only left just before you to go get a feed.
Well, you say left, I say disappeared off the face of the fucking earth.
I fucking told you that I was going to get a feed.
But then we're fucking uncontactable for a period of time.
I wasn't uncontactable.
I thought you died. I thought you died for the second time in 2 days.
Do you not fucking put your phone down? You're eating a fucking hamburger. You're holding it with two hands.
And also, it was
fucking
after
animal.
it was after 9 p.m. It was after 9 p.m. The problem was it was after 9 p.m. So my phone went into like that sleep mode where it doesn't like buzz or anything. And so I just had it on the thing, just, you know, just having it feed. And then I look and there's like 6 missed calls or something from Glennie. So I just texted him and go, fucking, what's this? I actually called you and go, what's the problem? Someone fucking,
give me some chocolate.
And he's like, just bring some snacks back. And I go, all right, I'm about to get in the Uber. I'll just go to this fucking 7-Eleven and get some snacks before I jump in.
But
Glennie's turned into a stage fight.
Oh, hasn't he though?
Tell you what, we would have fucking got back in the fucking car and gone back and searched for him. But I was like, fucking, there's half an hour had transpired. I thought fucking Sam's car would be fucking filthy again. I wouldn't be able to get in the cunt.
Who would you say was the most valuable contributor to the meetup? Because there's contention going on for the Twillies about MVC, and I think.
Well, I don't think anyone's secured an MVC from any deeds on the weekend.
Not secured it.
That's a season-long thing, right?
Grover with the shapes. That's an effort.
That was great.
What, he purchased boxes of shapes?
You got the photo, cunt?
He purchased, like, yeah.
I got a photo of 2 boxes of shapes.
Oh, fuck, you need to learn to read.
But he had them with the custom, you know, with the custom packets, you know, with the TWiL.
Just the level of ignorance is fucking bewildering.
Oh, did I just not look enough?
Yeah, you didn't look at the photo close enough, clearly.
Days.
You just saw shapes and just immediately sort of detached.
You
saw carbohydrates and just fucking switched off, disassociated.
I saw there was fucking no crimpies, so obviously it's not worth looking at any further. Like, the cunts are actually shaped like footballs. How the fuck does any rugby league fan not rate them as the greatest shape of all time? The shape its fucking self is the greatest shape.
Yeah, anyway, so...
I probably let the cat out of the bag now, as well. The reason I couldn't come down to the meetup is that stepdad is going to be a real dad again in real life.
You're putting it out there now.
Putting it out there. And there were some potential complications early on that meant that I couldn't be interstate just in case.
Yep.
So it was just shit timing, but for a very happy reason. So I'm sorry I missed you all, but there you go. That's why. So I hope you can all forgive me.
I'll be being honest. Your name didn't really come up except with one person. Did you tell him, Glennie?
Not yet.
Glennie had a conversation. Are you going to tell us the conversation right now, Glennie?
No, we're not going to do that. I'm not going to do it.
Go.
Stop it. I'm not going to throw Bailey under a bus. Fucking hell, I'll tell you off air.
It was. I just want to make it very clear it wasn't Bailey. Glennie's been very fucking bitchified right now.
Someone has to be the diplomat.
Come on.
No.
No, let's go.
And that's full time on episode fucking whatever the fuck Nate said at the start of the show.
Hang on a minute. I just want to say the tipping comp. Let's do the tipping comp and distract from Glenn's absolute fucking cowardice right now that I'm absolutely ashamed to be fucking witnessing in the flesh. Now, the tipping comp has been run and won. Fat Boy is the winner, who I don't know where he came from. Did he change his name? Tied on 151 with Mitch Rich, who was a leader for most of the season, or for certainly the tail end. And it's just been differential. He won by 17 on differential, 16 on differential. So then we go back to 1 point to Barrett's Belmore. That's your top three. And then we go back to M. Jonesy, Craig C. Cross, Dan Glenn Wang, Alpha Ben RL, Andrew Kirby 84, Voodoo Rock, and Dan Eel round out the top 10. And I just want a special shout out to the person who finished 12th with their name, Hopper Felt My Haas. And they didn't win, but they were only 5 points off the top. But I just noticed that name potentially for the first time, so I thought I'd give him a shout out. Congratulations to you, Fat Boy. And please get in touch at business@thisweekinleague.com. And you have the spoils of victory next year in terms of membership. So that's it. So what's going to happen for the rest of the season? The next episode you're going to hear after this one is going to be our what has become annual. It's like our third annual RC Agent special. Yes. And so in light of that, if you have any questions that you would like to ask an NRL accredited agent about the processes, how contracts work,
voice forward so big.
How do TPAs work, specific
Where the fuck
case.
Does this come from, Glenn? Was this here last year?
No, for some reason he's taken an intense dislike to someone he's never met, and
this never happens. No, it always happens.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll put something in the Discord and we'll put something on the Facebook group as well. But if you have any questions for an NRL accredited agent that you would like to ask, if there are specific contract issues that you've seen come up in the game, over the last 12 months or something, and you'd like someone to give the actual rulings and the rules governing it and why things happen the way they did, whatever, any questions at all. If you want to, for example, Glennie is going to have a question. He doesn't know he has a question now, but he's going to have a question.
I've got a bunch of questions.
Like, look, I was around in DJ. I was playing D grade touch and the halfback for. Oh, sorry, that's right. Your mate that was playing D grade. My mistake.
Yes.
The guy who listens to the show, he's D, wasn't he?
Yeah. He should be C grade, and I should be D grade. Yeah, but the reality is different.
Yeah, I was thinking that we're the better player, but yeah, you're right. But yeah, you're like, okay, I was in C grade and I saw this halfback running around, and like, what have I got to do to get him, in the system so he can be the next halfback for the Broncos? Yeah, shit like that. Think about your questions now. I look forward
to Forward fucking refuting all your bullshit and telling actual stories.
How the fuck are you doing? But how you're all forward?
Yeah, or
from your brow.
Your forehead goes to the top of your ass.
Maybe you fucking said I don't have a neck, but maybe it's just all neck and not all forehead. I don't know. What are you?
No, it starts at your brow.
You're not a fucking doctor? What are you, a doctor? You're not a fucking doctor. Shut the fuck
up. I'm a doctor of fucking understanding.
Oh, you're a fucking... This is next level fucking grifting. Now you're a doctor.
So tell the story now.
Fucking Tom Cruise would be proud of your fucking level of grifting.
The bush doctor versus the fucking Thetan
doctor. Dr. Cruise versus the bush doctor.
I watched Tropic Thunder with the kids again the other night. Fucking greatest role of his career. Greatest role of his career. It's amazing.
It is funny. Yeah. So that's it. thisweekinleague.com/links, and that'll get you to the Patreon with episodes that are going to keep on coming over the off season. The Discord, if you want to get in there to chat. RC Agent next week, next episode, probably be this time next week. It will come out, and then following that, it'll be the Twillies episode. So expect to see. I've started loading up the ballot thing for the Twillies. So got a couple of those just to finalise, and the Twillies will be going up probably midweek for voting. And so you're going to have like a week and a half, 2 weeks to vote, and then we'll end the season with the 13th, I think it is, annual TWiL Awards, and that'll wrap it up for the main show for 2022. Anything to add before we fucking pull the pin this evening, gentlemen?
No, I'm good.
No. Looking forward to Year of Cleary 4.0.
Literally not one of them has happened yet.
Stop. Everybody.
Bailey's even given up on that. And he was the one that invented it.
Don't enable it. Just hit stop.
Fucking three-peat then. The three-peat's on.
The creator of the hashtag abandoned it after the first year. When it wasn't indeed the Yuri after all.
Yeah, good.
And now we're all just fucking hashtag Yuri of Cleary.
Steve Jobs left Apple. And then came back. And then got liver cancer.
Exactly.
And then refused chemotherapy. So there.
And then drank a lot of juice.
All
right.
Fuck it.
See you next time, fuckers.
See ya.
Later.